from this. I got one last little thing to go over, and it shouldn't just take but a couple of minutes to break down for y'all. We are going to revisit a place that is near and dear to my heart. It is a place called Lord Howe Island. And once upon a time, there was a rare species of giant stick insects that lived on this island. Shipwrecked on this island. I have a whole video about it. Came out, I think it was not this last Halloween, but the Halloween before last, where I explained the history of these stick insects. But shipwrecked on the island, rats got onto the island. The stick insects were thought to be extinct until one of the rocky formations, a little ways away, like a quarter mile away from the main island, they discovered that the stick insects were still alive, took them into captivity, rapidly bred them. There was last time I checked, there was like 50,000 now in captivity, and they were going to re-release them onto the island. But the stick insects themselves weren't the only ones that suffered from this rat infestation. There were also a species of birds on the island that we will never see again, multiple species. The face of the Lord Howe Islands was forever changed by this event, a shipwreck with some rats. However, another species, and maybe less charismatic than the stick insect, at least in the public eye. For people who know me, know my channel, they know I'm going to say this, and y'all are going to be like, oh, I am a roach girl. I love my roaches. I have more roaches in my collection, more species of roaches in my collection than any other insect. I have more roaches, orders of magnitude more roaches in my collection than any other invertebrate at all. Doubly so, orders of magnitude more. I have colonies because roaches live in colonies. At least the species that I have do. And I'm a roach girl, and I'm okay with that. And anybody who enters my life needs to be okay with that too. However, there was a species of wood roach, and wood roaches aren't your ew, it's a pest species. Now, these live in the forest. They live on the floor of the forest. Palmetto bugs are ones we see in the U.S. a lot. They don't want to be inside human houses. They don't thrive there. They thrive in warm environments, and they come out after dark and feed on the forest floor. They generally are scavengers, detritivores, and sometimes carnivorous, rarely though. However, wood roaches on Lord Howe Island were a distinct species because of its isolation, right? So they were thought to be extinct for 80 years. This is a very similar story to what we had with the stick insects. Thought that this went to the way of the dodo, as they say. So I'm going to read this article real quick here. The Lord Howe Island wood-feeding cockroach, Panethisia lata, long believed to be extinct on the main island of Lord Howe Island. The wood-feeding cockroach was found at the foot of a single banyan tree. The interesting thing about when they say wood-feeding cockroaches is cockroaches, as a clade themselves, Blattodidae, they are able to break down wood fiber. It's very special ability that they have that all roaches have to some extent. Now, there's one clade of roaches that went to the extreme with this and became wood feeding specialists. Today we know them as termites. So burst your bubble. Termites are just a specialized clade of roaches that have tapped into the wood feeding benefits that come from being a roach, and specialized in that, became hyper eusocial in the process. I'm going to go off on tangents like that, but a University of Sydney biology student has uncovered a large wingless wood-eating cockroach that was believed to be extinct since the 1930s and is unique to Australia's Lord Howe Island. For the first 10 seconds or so, I thought, no, it can't be, said Maxim Adams, an honors student under Professor Nathan Lowe at the University of Sydney's School of Biological Science. I mean, I lifted the first rock under this huge banyan tree, and there it was. We found families of them all under this one banyan tree, said senior scientist Nicholas Carlisle of the New South Wales Department of Planning and Environment, further known as the DPE, who was with Adams exploring North Bay, a secluded white sandy beach only accessible by foot or water. In fact, Maxim and Nathan were there for the rest of the week, looked under every other banyan in North Bay and didn't find anything. It's the rare Lord Howe Island wood-feeding cockroach, Panthesia lata, which was previously common across the archipelago. I always trip on that word too. It's fun to say. Was believed to have become extinct when rats arrived on the island in 1918, as I covered previously when I was talking about the stick insects. Over the next several decades, searches uncovered scattered populations of close relatives on two tiny offshore islands. However, the rediscovered group is genetically distinct from them. The survival is great news, as it has been more than 80 years since it was last seen, said Lord Howe Island Board Chair Atticus Fleming about the find, first made in July 2022. So this is very recently. And I think when I did my stick insects video, I actually mentioned this as an extinct species from the island. So now that's been updated, I guess. Woo! Lord Howe Island really is a spectacular place. It's older than the Galapagos Island and is home to 1,600 native invertebrate species, half of which are found nowhere else in the world. It really is for insect lovers. It's like a hotbed of amazing, unique creatures. These cockroaches are almost like our own version of Darwin's finches, separated on little islands over thousands of or millions of years, developing into their own unique genetics, he added. Although they may not be cute and cuddly, cockroaches play a crucial role in the island's ecosystem by recycling nutrients, accelerating the decomposition of logs, and serving as a food source for other animals. For this reason, the experts have been looking into the viability of reintroducing them from the offshore islands to the mainland. From the offshore islets to the main island. Now they no longer have to. There is still so much to learn, said Professor Lowe, head of the molecular ecology, evolution, and phylogenetics MEEP lab. I like that, MEEP, in the School of Life and Environmental Sciences. We are hoping to study their we are hoping to study their habitat, behavior, and genetics and learn more about how they managed to survive through further experiments on the island. The wingless cockroach is 22 to 40 millimeters long, with a metallic body color that varies from reddish to black. Australia hosts 11 species of Panthesia wood cockroaches, powerful burrowers that live inside and feed on rotten logs in rainforests and open forests in the coastal northern and eastern Australia. They carry specialized microorganisms in their gut that help digest the cellulose in the wood. Females give birth to nymphs, which stay in family groups with the adults, but the unique arthropods behave differently and may have been misnamed. Despite its common name suggesting they are wood-feeding cockroaches and that they burrow in rotting logs, we now believe they are more of a rock roach, with rocks forming an important component of their habitat. possibly due to their coevolution alongside the ground foraging Lord Howe Island woodhen, said DPE's Carlisle, who was part of the team of scientists that rediscovered the Lord Howe Island stick insect in 2001 on Ball Island or Ball's Pyramid. That's the offshore island, a volcanic outcrop 23 kilometers off the coast of Lord Howe Island. The University of Sydney led the research in partnership with New South Wales Department of Planning and Environmental and Lord Howe Island Museum. The research was funded by Australia and Pacific Science Foundation and Australia Research Council. So that is the return of the Lord Howe wood feeding roach. Pretty fantastic, in my opinion. And I hope that we find more returning organisms thought to be extinct on the Lord Howe Island and any other island that has experienced one of these mass extinction events. Insects often get overlooked when it comes to the detrimental effects that the Anthropocene has had on the ecology of these islands. Often we focus on birds and mammals that went extinct that were unique and endemic to the islands, but there are a multitude of insects that we will never see, that naturalists will never get to observe. And unlike things like the moa and the elephant bird, don't leave large bone fossils in their wake for us to understand what they looked like and how they lived. Uh, Insects are not as common in the fossilization process other than amber. So many of them will never even get to learn about. They went extinct by competition with invasive species well before they were ever discovered by man. And it makes me sad to think about all of the organisms that we will never get to see, never even know that existed. But I'll do my damnedest to help catalog all the ones that do. And if there's ever a chance that I could raise species in the hive myself, oh my God, that would be amazing. Uh, but I do like roaches. I am happy to see that this one's coming back. I think that roaches are so misunderstood. So hold on, let me see what Mark's talking about here. That student would be absolutely thrilled. That's a high distinction for a unit. They are not European cockroaches that infest houses. They live out in the bush. Yes, I have seen Creepshow. Again, this is very different from the pest species. There's several pest species of cockroach. Um, American cockroaches, Oriental cockroaches, German cockroaches, and I actually have a species of Turkish cockroach that can take hold as a pest species in the right environment. But I keep them contained. They're feeders mostly. They call them red runners in the pet trade just because calling them cockroaches detours people. Wood roaches are they don't like living in people's houses. They don't do infestations and things like that. You might see them like on the running around the side. Wood roaches are what you see running around the sidewalk outside when it's warm at night, like when you're out for a walk or whatever, skittering across the sidewalk, or maybe hanging around a dumpster or a waste receptacle or trash can. Even they'll hang around there where there's uh, decay that they can consume. Because that's what they specialize in, consuming decay, and that's very important in any ecology. Their wings are actually a pretty dark orange color, and I kind of like them, although they can scare the crap out of you if you don't know they are there and fly at you. Are you talking about, I think you may have said earlier on. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, Australian black cockroaches. They're wood roaches too, I'm assuming. I don't know the common names of everything. Are they in the same clade, Panthesia? Have a fix for roaches and spiders. Yeah, I have. I love arthropod in general. That's why this is HiveScience. That's why my visuals and my theme on my channel is has bugs. I know I talk about more than bugs. Mainly my channel is a debunking channel, but with the bug aesthetics. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here.